So that's a different feel.
Yeah, it's completely different. Where there are sororities, fraternities, and there are dorms
Yeah,
too.
but it's just not as many as Stanford or anything.
Yeah.
So then you did USC from 56 to
60.
to 60.
Yeah.
And then that's when you
So
were.
we, Omi and I were in the same class, and we met our senior year in dental school. And then we got married in '61, a year later.
How did you guys meet again?
We met on a blind date. Mom's.
Did you really on a blind date?
Omi's friend Roberta.
Roberta, like the Roberta from
the attorney from Southern California. Well, she was a dental hygiene student.
She was.
She and Omi and another one were living together. Three girls living in a rooming house. They take old houses like this and put 10 students in different
Pack
rooms.
them all in here.
Yeah. And I was living in a dental fraternity, which was, it's like undergraduate fraternities, except it's just dentists.
Mm-hmm.
And my roommate was dating Roberta, and so,
so that's the connection.
she wanted to line me up with, or line Ann up with me. So one night, Ann had come home from a coffee date. I used to college, you had coffee dates, and then you had later dates, and anyway. So it was 9 o'clock at night, and so she says, bring Dwayne over when you're coming over. I say, well, Ann had just come home from a coffee date, so this other couple wanted us to sit down and talk together. And Ann was not too happy. She was tired. She wanted to go to bed. Not with me, but she just wanted to go to bed. So Roberta took Dawn, and the two of them went out, and they went for a walk, and she stepped on a nail. And so they had to go to an emergency clinic, and they had to get a tetanus shot, and they didn't get home till like 1 o'clock.
Oh, geez. So then you and Omi
poor
were stuck
Omi,
with each other.
who didn't want to meet me to start with, had to make me a cheese sandwich at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, keep you there all. Well, thank God for the broken.
The nail.
The nail, yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why she's good friends with Roberta. That's how we got.
So that's so cool. I was never even aware that she was friends with Roberta before you guys even met. So they go.
Yeah.
They go back. So you guys.
She's known Roberta longer than I have.
Wow. Huh.
Roberta, when we were dating, this is kind of a funny story you'll like.
Oh man.
When we were dating, I called Ann, and she was having another date. So Roberta says, well, I'm not. So I says, I'm not sure how we ended up, but we ended up at a strip show, and these, it was in Hollywood. Pink Pussycat, I think it was called.
Oh man.
And there was a gal.
So you and Roberta.
And who had tassels on her breast.
Oh my.
She could get one going one way and one the other way. Roberta and I still laugh about that.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. So then you and Roberta became really good friends, right?
Well, we were good friends. We were never dated or anything.
Well, yeah, but just through.
But then the other girls in this rooming house, there was one that was a classmate of theirs that anyway, Ann wasn't available. She was dating somebody else, so I went out with one of these others. She was known as a pretty free woman, and so Ann heard that.
She was mad at you. Oh no.
And then from then on, yeah.
That's funny. Oh, so that's
but the places you go, or that you make decisions in life that really
make a huge impact.
I mean, the two biggest decisions that I've talked with some of my friends, and we all sort of agree that, is where you go to school and who you meet and becomes your spouse is the two most important decisions.
Crucial,
yes, because that guides your life after
that. Your whole,
yeah.
How did you end up asking Omi to marry you? So that was. So you guys were dating, and then.
Well.
Or how about talking to her parents? Was that a good experience?
Well, the first time I met her,
when was that? Is that a good story? The first time you met her parents,
they
you have
lived
to go
away
to
from
family
campus.
dinner.
So they lived away from campus, and so I went there to pick her up. She'd go home on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
And so her mother washed her clothes and cooked meals so she could take back for the rest of the week, and she was really babied. Anyway, but I went to her house, which was out by the airport in Los Angeles, and to pick her up, and her father came to the door, and he just opened the door and says, "Do you drink raw milk?"
So you're standing there like, what am I supposed to say?
When I met her parents.
Quite a first impression, huh?
Right.
What did you...
What? I mean, because he suffered from arthritis, and so he had tried everything. He could barely walk sometimes from arthritis, and they didn't have treatments like they do now. Even today, it can be a debilitating disease. But so he went to different clinics, and he went to Tijuana and got gold shots and everything to try to stop. And he became a health food addict, I guess you'd call it nowadays. And he would only eat a raw. It's kind of like the people who just do raw vegetables or something. But anyway, raw milk. He thought raw milk was better than pasteurized milk. So my answer to him was perfect, because I said, well, I never had anything but raw milk for the first 17 years of my life.
Oh yeah,
when I was at home, because I used to milk.
They didn't pasteurize it.
I milked 2 cows a day.
Oh, so it's perfect. So then, oh, that's a good way to.
Yeah, so I was.
No, so you were good to. Oh,
I was good to go. I couldn't do any problem.
And then how about meeting your mom? Was it?
Well,
was she there that night? Or did
yeah, I think I
met
met her. I don't remember the first time, but she was interesting because she had an accent. She was from South Africa,
So she had the whole accent going. Oh, that's fun.
That was always interesting to talk to her about.
Huh.
And as we dated over the spring of our senior year in college, and I'd take Anne back to her parents' home. And
was it still in L.A.? Was it like?
Yeah, it was still in the same place.
Yeah, it's in the main part of L.A.
And they had or she used to bake cheesecakes. And so every night I'd take her home, where there'd be a fresh cheesecake on the counter.
And you get a cheesecake?
So I always teased her for years afterwards. I mean, she lived to be 93, so she was around a long time.
Yeah.
But I always teased her about setting the trap with
keep with you coming.
Cheesecake, set a trap for a mouse with cheese.
Were they super tasty?
Yeah. So anyway.
And how about when Anne met your folks? Or when we met your folks, did that not happen?
You'll have to ask her.
Do you not even? Yeah.
Because I wasn't as impressed with that as she was.
I
mean, that was a different experience. She never lived on a farm, because so that was different.
Yeah, how did that? Did you guys because you guys had very different upbringings then, so it was total when you're getting to know each other and dating and stuff, tell her all about how to milk a cow.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember taking her up to the farm one time. Might not have been the first time, but we went rabbit hunting at night, which one of our things when I was in high school. We'd go rabbit hunting and take a pickup. The pickup had a spotlight on it.
Oh, that's it.
And so you shine it around, and their eyes shine, and there'd be kids in the back, with 22s and jacos. And it was because we raised alfalfa and cotton, and those rabbits, and we were next to an open grassland. So the rabbits,
there was a ton of them, huh?
Yeah, there was just a ton of them. And they would just come in there, and especially in the spring of the year, when the grass dried up in the grassland, and we had nice green alfalfa, they just come in there. And I think they said 11, I remember them saying 11 jackrabbits eat as much as one cow.
So
I don't think that's true, but anyway. So
I think those things can eat though. So
we had a license to kill.
To go there and get them out of there.
But that was fun, and we happened that particular night. We happened to run across a badger, and
how'd you get him?
I can't remember when we got him or not, but
that was the excitement.
Your grandmother was very excited about that.
Huh.
I mean, I think we did kill him because they used to dig holes in the ditches, and so we had to get rid of them. So that was all new to a city girl.
Oh yeah.
And music. You didn't ask me, but
let's talk
about music.
Was the music taste different for like
You know, my
and
parents,
her?
I don't ever remember having music in our house.
Really? So you never really listened to music that much growing up?
No,
Huh.
I don't remember it.
Until like
we'd sing-
Stanford,
we'd
did you
sing
get it,
songs
like
in
Stanford
church and stuff.
USC?
When I went to Stanford, my roommate was from San Francisco. His father was superintendent of schools in San Francisco.
Huh.
And he was very cityfied, you know, and
Total.
cityfied. He grew up in cold San Francisco.
San Francisco. I mean, it
And-
doesn't get much more city boy
Yeah,
than that.
you know, went to the operas and the ballets and that stuff. He was pre-med, and his father had a doctorate in education, you know, and so he had a completely different background. He liked music, and his parents wanted him to be a doctor, but Dave Brubeck, have you ever heard of Dave Brubeck?
I'm not sure if I have.
Progressive jazz, you know what progressive jazz is?
Oh yeah.
He played the marimba.
Played them.
And he kind of was one of the beginning people of progressive
So
jazz.
did your roommate have like a record player or anything, or he just?
Well, yeah, he
had like a little.
by that time we had music, but as a younger kid, when I was your age,
like
I don't
there was-
remember the music
mhm.
so much. But anyway, he introduced me to progressive jazz because he took lessons every Saturday from Dave Brubeck.
Oh, okay.
And then we would go to the city to jazz.
So that was like the first time you really get the.
Yeah.
Was that?
Right,
That
yeah.
must have been a real
Right,
culture
that was
shock
really
in San
different.
Francisco. the
Well,
first
because
time
where I grew up, you listened to country and western music. You didn't listen to any.
Yeah.
You know,
Compared to jazz and all
right,
that,
right.
the city.
And it's still, my cousin's funeral we went to, they played a song, and it was a country western
Did
song.
it totally bring you back?
And, I mean, he's 82 years old.
And they still. Oh, that's.
Out at the cemetery, you know, before the burial.
So that's so. But so that means so you had the little bit of like city music in you then when you met Omi. So it wasn't like a
A
total.
little bit.
So like you just had a little.
I was only at Stanford for 2
taste of
years,
it,
but
so, like,
you know, I went to there was
you
a
get a
guy
little
across
idea
the
of-
hall that was kind of music
Oriented.
He was also pre-med, but and he eventually became a doctor. My roommate became a school teacher and teaches music at Halfmoon Bay.
Oh, really?
Music and English, I think.
Oh.
And he did. He's probably retired now.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so by the time I met Omi,
You'll see.
I had been introduced to that. And a guy across the hall used to go to the opera, and so I actually went to a couple of operas. I mean, they really encouraged us at a school like Stanford,
Mhm.
that you do those type of things.
Yeah,
and
like
you-
get all kinds of different.
and, you know, we'd go to different church services in different places in East Palo Alto. And we did a variety of things that,
That's fun.
I mean, you're studying these different religions, and so you go to different
Some
church,
certain
yeah.
religious places.
And we had, you study music too, and art and music, which I wasn't exposed to art or music at all. I played the piano. I studied piano for 4 months when I was in the 8th grade.
So in high school then, did they have like, oh well you're right. So like the high school dances like you were talking about. So they just had like the total country.
They had a lot of country music.
And that was like that's what you play in the high school
Yeah.
dances.
And Glenn Miller was really before my time. It was more in the 40s, but it was still popular as
So that's
as
like
a dance, so slow dance thing.
Uh-huh.
The big bands were very popular in those days.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy that played an accordion, and there was a talent show. It's like America's Got Talent or those things. And there was this guy from Fresno who played the accordion, Dick Contino.
That name kind of.
I don't know whatever happened to him, but anyway, he went on. He kept winning and winning and winning. So he was on national TV. But we didn't have TV when we got TV when I was a junior in high school, and it was the screen was about yay big.
Yeah, you'd sit up in front of the TV.
And it was black and white only, and it was only for I think 4 hours a day. So from
Had like what 2 or 3 stations.
from about
Like
5 to 9 in
CBS,
the evening.
That
Yeah, and then there would be, so that there might be one station on, I guess that maybe had some different hours, but, and you'd chip to a different channel, and it would be a test pattern, what was called a test pattern,
Oh yeah.
Black and white in a circle. CBS or what it was.
Yeah, whatever.
But it was in black and white, and that's the first.
Was it totally neat? I mean, do you remember being super cool like when it?
Well, I hadn't grown up with it.
So
It didn't impress me that much.
Really?
Because my parents wouldn't let me watch it during the week anyway, so it
wasn't that big of an
It wasn't that big of a deal. It was only later when we came to Palo Alto that black and white. When we came in '62, when we came back here, is when color TV came in. And,
so you guys moved right into this house when you came
No,
back to Palo Alto?
no,
how did the whole, so you come back to Palo Alto.
Yeah.
You know me, decided to come back.
December '62.
You convinced the LA girl to come over here.
Yeah. Well, we came here in December '62, and I had been in the Air Force for 2 years, and I liked a group practice idea where there were 30 of us at my base, and all I did was root canals and extractions and so on. I didn't treat kids or do dentures or gum surgery or any of that.
Specialist.
So I really specialized in the
you got really good at that then, huh?
Yeah, and so when I came here, I went into a group practice, a Palo Alto dental group, where there's 10 dentists at the time. They wanted somebody else, and so I did general dentistry, but I started doing root canals for all the other guys, and then the guys down the street started sending me there. So
where did you guys move into?
Well,
originally? The one down on.
When we came here to look for a job, we stayed in a motel that's still there. It's over in. It's on El Camino.
Is it the one?
Oh, it's got the little sleepy bear. What is that called?
Oh.
Anyway, it's the same motel is still there.
Same
It doesn't
one.
look any different.
Wow.
And then we rented an apartment on Kirtner Avenue, which is kind of. Do you know where Celia's is?
Yeah.
It's kind of
it's down by
across. Yeah, it's across the street from Celia's.
Mm-hmm.
And we rented an apartment there, and that's where we lived there when your mother was born. And we had a pool, and we had one bedroom furnished apartment.
I didn't even know that you guys had that. So,
Yeah.
So that's where Mom was born. And then,
Right, and we lived there till she was a year or so old, I think. And it was a one-bedroom unfurnished apartment, so we bought a bed. So we had a bed on the floor.
And then that's about all.
Well, and Omi wouldn't accept hand-me-downs from the parents, So I mean, they would have furnished our house. I mean, like we could furnish your house if you were to go out.
Definitely.
And we got so much junk there.
But we didn't want to.
No, she didn't want to do that. So
you guys did it all on your own.
So we did without. Yeah. Oh, wait, just a minute, John. Turn it off.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta pay.